Hi everyone, it's Pastor Dee. You know, today I want to talk to you about something that is not our favorite subject, but is something that is necessary, and that is loss and grief. It is even representative by what I'm wearing. I am wearing, a black dress. We normally wear black when we are grieving. Sometimes if it's a loss of a person, we will say, oh, what's their favorite color? And everyone will show up in their favorite color at their service. But normally we wear black, but regardless as to whether we wear black or not, loss and grief represents a very dark time in our lives. It is a time where things don't make sense, where we feel like we have suffered a wrong, and maybe we have suffered a wrong, or we feel like we're lost, we don't know what to do, we feel abandoned. That's what I want to share with you today. I want to do this in the way of a testimony because this, unfortunately, is a subject that I am very familiar with. I have had a lot of experience in this area, so I'm going to share with you from that standpoint. For me, loss started very early in life. I lost my firstborn son. Not a lot of us have lost a child, of course, and he was barely 2 years old, and I lost my firstborn son to where I was numb, devastated, hurt, confused, a lot of things. My mom died when she was only 47 years old. That's young for a mom to die. I was a young woman. I was the only daughter. I was the only girl. I needed my mom at many times in my life, and yet I didn't have her. She wasn't there. So hence, there was another loss. I lost my oldest brother. He was only 39 years old when he died. Now, my oldest brother was very close to me. He and I would talk about all types of things, and he would share his deepest, darkest secrets, and he would tell me things that I didn't want to know. and we were very close. We were only born 18 months apart. Lost my oldest brother. I lost my youngest brother. He was 35 years old when he died, whom I had recently just reconnected with. That was another great loss. Also, I could talk about the loss of my grandparents. My grandparents, my maternal grandparents were married 71 years. My grandfather died, and 6 months later, my grandmother died. She was what I considered to be my best friend. I could tell her anything. I could talk to her about anything, and she died. Those were all great losses of people. But let's talk about the loss through divorce. I have experienced that. Loss through divorce. Many of you have gone through divorces. Nobody wants to go through a divorce, but we do. That's another great loss. You feel betrayed. You feel lost. You feel alone, abandoned. Been through that experience. I can remember walking into my place of business one day at the company I worked for. It's a weird kind of day. If you're in touch with God spiritually, you can feel when things are not quite right, something's going wrong, you don't know what's happening. Anyway, by the end of that day, I was called into the office and told that would be my last day. I was overqualified for the position, which I was. And I took that position because it was safe. It was a break from my consulting, and I can do this job, and But it's the devastation, the hurt, the wound, the part that happens in your mind where you're not sure what's happening, you're not sure what's going on. These are all losses. I've yet to speak of the loss of my husband, Chris, who left home one night to go and help someone and never came back. He died. Loss, grief, We all experience these things. But what I want to tell you about it is this, is that if I did not share these experiences with you, you would never know that I had those experiences. And that's vital. That's vital because God is a healer and God always has a plan. I don't care what you experience. He always has a plan. He knows what he's doing. He has something around the corner, even when people leave this earth, even when we lose that job, even when we are disappointed, lied to, hurt, whatever the case may be. You have to remember that Almighty God, the creator of this universe, always has a plan for you. If it's a loss of a person, that person's time on this earth has ended. Unfortunately, whether it's my 2-year-old son, who it took years to get over, whether it was my husband or my brother or my mom, or those things are devastating and they hurt. So I am not minimizing that. I am telling you though, that is one of the times in life where you must lock into God and say, God, what are you doing? What do you have for me? What are you saying to me? I'm here, I'm hurting, what do I do? Oftentimes, especially in the Black community, we do not get that time to grieve and mourn. So my representative Black outfit is like, we feel that darkness on the inside, but yet we don't deal with it. We don't take the steps we need to deal with it. I can recall when Chris died, my husband Chris, and they offered me grief counseling, and I said, oh no, I know God, I don't need grief counseling. I will talk to God about my grief. And guess what? A week later, I wanted to know, where was that number? Because I needed that number, because my spirit man was well intact and in tune with God. I could talk to God, I could tell him what was going on, but in my mind, there were thoughts and things going on. I felt depression trying to overtake me. I felt alone like never before. I needed another type of help. So therefore, I went and I was able to talk with a grief counselor. It saved my life. It saved my life. It was a very transformative time. But God used that person, because people forget you have a spirit, you have this body, but you have a mind. I needed to talk to someone about what was going on in my mind, because my spirit was okay. My body was fine. But my mind was telling me some things that I had never experienced before. And yet I was able to walk through that and come out on the other side, feeling healed and whole again, and feeling like myself again. Because one thing I knew, I could feel that this is unfamiliar to me. And if I go down this path of darkness that I feel is overcoming me, trying to overtake me, I don't know how long it will take me to rise above it again. I don't know. So yet, I better make sure that I get some help. Some of you need help. You need to seek out a professional because you've been through some devastating things. I could go into other losses that I've had, but you get my point. This representative of the losses that we have in life is only to say, God has a plan, God is with you, but there may be other resources that you need to use to help you to get through that time that is more powerful than you alone. I will even say when Chris died, my husband, people didn't understand what I was going through. I tried to talk to a friend of mine. I said, I'm just so mad at him. And she said, well, how is that possible? He's dead. Well, it's very possible because that's how I felt. So I don't know what was going on. All I could do was tell you how I felt and what was happening to me. But yet when I went and talked to that grief counselor, she could tell me, that's very normal. And I'm thinking, oh my God, it's normal, I'm normal, it's okay. I am saying to you, seek out help for your loss, your grief, whether it's a loved one, whether it's an opportunity, whether it's through a divorce, a partnership, through something that just hit you so hard that it left you not feeling like who you really are. There's so many ways we can grieve. And I want to say to you, through this representative black outfit, we all lose in life. We all grieve, we all mourn. But God has a plan for you, and seek out the help that you need beyond spiritual help. Because sometimes our mental health is what we need to pay attention to. Sometimes it is our spirit man. Sometimes it is our body. But I am saying, God has a plan. You are still here. You have a purpose, but seek out what you need to be healed during this time. I love you so much. God bless you.